Good morning, everyone. I trust that you are well. So this is the last of our series for this week. We'll be away and we'll be back next Friday, please God. So a brief thought relating to Parsha Shemos. We know that Pharaoh made a decree, and the decree was that every Jewish male-born child should be thrown into the River Nile. And we know that Moses' parents, hearing this decree, seeing there was not a future for any child that was born, they decided to separate. They weren't going to have any children because of the decree. And Miriam, the elder sister of Moses, she went to her father, Amram, and she said something quite extraordinary. She said to him that what you are doing is worse than Pharaoh, because Pharaoh made a decree against male-born children, but you, by separating from our mother, have made a decree against all children. And the next thing that happened is that we learn that, in fact, Amram recognizes that she's right, and therefore he comes back and he takes back his wife Yocheved, and they have children, and Moses is born, and we know the rest is history. And it's really astonishing, this midrashic, this rabbinic exegesis, this rabbinic tradition that we have, that Miriam stood up, and in fact she was the real savior of the day, wasn't she? Because if it wasn't for her, Moses wouldn't have been born. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what was Amram and Yocheved thinking? They knew that there was a chance that they would have a male-born child, but they knew there was equally a chance that they would have a female child. They knew at the time that that female children could live. So why is it they did what they did? And why were they persuaded by Miriam? So I don't have a great answer, but I want to perhaps try and work something through with you. And that is as follows, friends. If we think about it, this is very resonates with all of us when we think about the pre-Holocaust. The reference that Zvi Sperber makes to the Second World War and the Holocaust in particular is that families and Jewish parents had to make what's called choiceless choices. There was no real choice, because whatever they were going to do, it was a bad option. Whatever was going to happen, the Nazis did not give them. They on one occasion I read a harrowing account about a mother that had to choose between which child should be saved. That was the cruelty, the inhumanity, the animalistic side of the Nazis, that they wanted to extinguish any sniff, any light of humanity and compassion and divinity that the Jewish people had. And people, as we know, defied the odds, and they managed to heroically behave and conduct themselves as angels. They were, you saw real angels in Auschwitz, and on the other hand, you saw murderers on the other. And that's always the way it is. So I guess that for Amram and Yocheved, the thought of bringing a child into the world which potentially would have to be killed, nothing could be worse. The idea of bringing life is to bring a child up, is to bring that child to bar mitzvah, and then to wedding. The thought of bringing a child with no future into the world was something that they couldn't bear thinking about, and therefore they thought for the time being it would be better to wait. And Miriam said to them that to be under the decree, to subject oneself to the decree of Pharaoh, and to give no prospect of a future to the Jewish people, is the worst possible thing. And it flies in the face of all Jewish philosophy and beliefs. Because where there is life, there is always hope. And therefore there is God. And God is ultimately decides what will and will not be. We're not to play God. Miriam was saying that, firstly, a female child, a girl, would survive or could survive. And even if it is a male, it's not for us to determine whether that child will live or not. Let's leave it to God. We will do everything that we can for that child, as they did by setting that child on the Nile, and the rest we put over to the hands of the Almighty. It's an incredibly vital philosophy, friends, when it comes to life. So often we step back, we withdraw from things that we're not sure about, where there's uncertainty, where we can't be certain of the outcome, and therefore we say to ourselves, better not to have taken part, better not to have taken a chance, because we are likely to fail. Maybe likely to fail, but there's also a chance you could succeed. And that's the message that we learn from Miriam's actions in this week's parasha. Where there is life, there is hope. God is always willing us on. We have to do our bit, and then we hand over, as it were, the reins to the Almighty, and please God, we'll be successful. And therefore, we wish everyone well. And before we start some of us are having a break. I know some people aren't taking a break, but I'm taking a break for a week. Firstly, I want to wish David Goldring, just because I know that he has COVID, and we wish you, David, better. We wish everyone well. You should all have a good break and rest and read and learn and study in my absence. And please God, we'll be back refreshed and ready to go again from next Friday. In the meantime, I'm signing off, wishing everyone well. Take care. Look after yourselves. I'll miss you, but I look forward to seeing you when I get back. Take care. All the best.